wish it would get that. The entry, see, microphone on. The last one, see it recording. Didn't do it. It's weird. And this is where left off Friday, 1:07 a.m. So that was Thursday night, essentially. Next day, or later that day, I'm just wanting to jam some music, and I pull up a playlist, and just right away, it just makes me think that there's something to that I maybe missed. I don't know, but again, just seeing that, and then I think the comment. Spend time with my daughter. It's Friday, 2:14 p.m. I told you about that video, and I may share that. I don't know. I have it, of course, and I'm not doing that to tease, but it's just we're sitting there Friday, so like taking pictures and drawing while we're learning. And she does this, which was very curious. I mean, yeah, it looks like a glove, but I instantly thought of Singapore and that Art Deco at the Art Science Museum that's been prominently displayed too, in movies and stuff too. Just made a comment about Singapore and the merlion. We're doing that on the lion. I'm not even going to go over to that. I just thought that was nuts. I just made that comment. And then again, this is Friday, 2:17. This is a bit of a video. I'll really play that. And she's like, 2:20, I want to draw on a different one after we do this. She's like, I want to draw on the crab. So I take a picture of the crab, and again, it just happens to be on one. This is just noticed after. Again, this is for you, Michael. But NGC, the 26 and the 32, and that's the 14th, the 7th, and the 3rd letter, which equals the 24/42. I don't. So as you see, the 2:20 p.m. Friday. And then siesta time, and I get on, see 2:44, and this is the first thing I see on YouTube. Give me a sign. Strange, because my two older ones, my girls, we used to practice sign language. Do it before bed. There was this show, Signing Time, that we watched, and I'm sure I don't know all these, but they probably mean something. Of course they do. And then 3:02, 2:44, the first video, because I'm like sitting there thinking about this for a minute, because I'll see something like that and I'll have to think about it, Again, why is that it's just crazy, because I'm thinking like, all right, what am I going to be shown today? And then this is the first thing that pops up. And then I finished watching this. This is Victoria Cotton. And you see I got the arrow with the time, with that underlined. And of course AJ's my significant other, because, and this is Friday, remember? Friday. Man, I hate when it doesn't save it, or you had it. But anyways, the day before, which we ended up talking about it that night, scroll up, show you real quick, Thursday, so before Friday, she sends me this picture, which I was talking about in a video, of her grandma, Betty. And when she got home that night, we started talking about her, and her art. And I was, she's telling me all this stuff, and I was like, whoa. And of course, I have this thing where, like, almost everything you say, you can be equated to a song, or almost, but that jumped in my head, and I started singing it, and she started cracking up too. And later that night, I start watching this video, and I didn't finish it because it was late. And see, it's 6:52. I'd say there's about 10 minutes left, to be fair, 10 or so. Memory serves, but I definitely didn't finish it because this is the first thing I turned on to finish watching. And 3 minutes into it, give or take, she says that and even sings the line, and I was, again, just, So there must be something to that. That's is that a good line in terms of the algorithm, if you will? I don't even know how to explain it, but the fact that echoes back so quick, that has meaning, anything worth meaning is worth repeating. So why did that come back so quick after sending me a picture of her grandmother, who happens to be black, and her name is Betty? And watch a video that night after discussing it, and then follow up the next day with that. Along with the time, 3:26. So, of course, I'm thinking about that, contemplating some stuff, piecing it together. Next thing I watch is this. This is a Wano video, and it's got first this kind of caricature up here, the chick with the short hair, the female, whatever. I got cheer written there because the song he put on there is the same song my daughter did her tryout dance portion to, was that song. And coincidentally, he made this video, which happened to be about Russia, Red Scare. And I talked about her colors being black and red, and she's the Eagles. But something was going on with her, obviously, with all that's going on pertaining to the video, that it wasn't good, which it happened to not be good. And again, it could be just mere coincidence. But of all the songs that just this gentleman picks to correlate with his videos, which you wouldn't normally think a song like that would be selected in the timeline that it is, was just pretty fascinating. And again, it's just right there, and that was Thursday night, and I started watching that video Thursday, and this is the next one. And I won't put her business out there, but what's going on with cheer isn't good, but that's just another thing, and we know about that, and we're working on that. So to that night, so Friday, and I've got this tournament this weekend, and we'll get to that. But later that night, we went to the flea market the weekend before, as I had discussed, and some friends of ours were there. They're like, yeah, we're going to be up at this bar they normally frequent, Dr. Feelgood's, and they play pool. And I was like, cool, I'll come up and hang, because I haven't seen them in a bit, Pappy and Steven. And I go up there, and they invite me up there, and he even texts. He's like, hey, man, my wife's not going to come this time, but we're still going to come. And I was like, cool. I think you even see it where he says yes sir in the previous video there. But also that chick, my previous video, there it is, Dimitri, there's that one. And contemplation on a comment, not the last video, but this one. He goes into it about how now, you see that, King James was black. There's the chick with the short hair. Right? The injection, the new ideas attached to the old ideas, yeah. So it's just crazy that, it's a young girl, one would assume, and I hate to do that. They both have the short hair, and my daughter has short hair, but it's not super long either. But that would come up. So again, the timeline, but then I go later, sorry to bounce back again, but I'm driving up there, and this car comes out of my neighborhood, and I'm following it almost all the way there. But I catch this pretty early on at the first light when we're making a left to go down sooner. And this plate, and I'm sorry to put this out there, you know, this person did nothing, was a very cordial driver, but I'm behind this. When they pull out of my neighborhood, that is JAY, which is the 10th, 1st, and 25th, which reduces to 117, and then 11 and 99 from New York. And I'm not a person, you know, and this is just for qualifiers or whatever. I don't even have to do that, but I don't go looking at plates, but the fact that I'm pulling out of my deal, and it'll come back around with pool, because I'm going to meet up with some friends to shoot some pool to kind of warm up, but also to have fun and hang out. Oh, and there we go, just on schedule, like I said, was in our plan. That's our new moon fire. But anyways, so I go out there and had a great time. And whoops, not that one. And then we got this pool thing. We'll get to this too, but I meet a gentleman there, James, and the week on Tuesday night previous to this weekend, I played a gentleman. His name was James. This first game we played against the Dirty Monkeys, that guy's name was James. And that James I met Friday night. I think it was James Eaton. He said his son was there with him. And man, that was just a father-son duo. Like, they were just both just really kind, very generous. And I met his son first, and then James came up after, and that was Jamarion. And you know, he told me that it was his son. And then we start talking, and I've never had a conversation go from zero to deep in like 2 minutes flat that I did with this guy. And the other thing is my grandfather, who I associate very much with, you know, him and my grandmother, Mimi and Dindy, his name was James too. But the echo of James so much. But, and we'll get to all this too, I want to notice a bunch of stuff. In the second one, I played a chick, a female, a woman. Her name was Sandy. And I cracked up when she said that. She's like, what's so funny? And I go, with all the things that I've, you know, I just read about. I was like, I just understand that Olivia Newton-John just died. And of course, her most famous role was Sandy. And that's been going around the zeitgeist or the world mind, whatever. I hate labeling stuff, but I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about if you know. Her name was Sandy. We played at 9 a.m. 919. What's even crazier about this day, on this Saturday from 9 to noon, but while I played this game, my cheer daughter had cheer. My neighbor watched my youngest. As soon as I got done, I had to come pick up the daughters, meet up with my wife to get him over to another place to get up to this game all on time, which it did work out. All right, right after this one, I had to go pick them up from our friends that were watching them, which picked up their daughter that came by that we planned to do the fire with. I told them I would not be there for that. But these two games, I won 3-0. And I lost this one to Sandy. 2-3. She shot exceptionally well. But there's the 2-3, and then the 3-0. And the 2-3-3 is the 51st prime, and 51 is my number. And I didn't play on this last one. It's crazy that a blow up happened on this night too. A teammate of ours ended up getting kicked off for reasons, and I had went back up there much later that night to figure out what was going on. And the next day, Sunday, which was yesterday, to which we did win. And to go back to Friday night, give me a second because I was getting something. Go back to Friday night. That night, I had a vision that we were going to win this. That's the second time it happened. The last time it happened, we went to Vegas. I covered that. thought we were going to win this one again. Not only that, I saw it coming down to me. Weird thing, back to this. We won that first one in 3 games out of 5 matches. 5 potential ones. And I've never seen that in 8-ball. We won the second one in 5, so there's your 3, 5. And then this one, we ended up winning despite all the stuff that happened. And I won't get into that either. That's somebody else's business. I understand what happened. We won 3-0 again. So 2 games we won 3, and there's a 3-3. And I've never seen this. And the captain of our team had said, I've never seen that either. And he's like, you rarely see the 3-0s, especially in a tournament. We'll get to this one. We're up pretty good the first 2 matches, and it comes to the third one. And Kat is doing real well. Oh, sorry, I put her out, but I love her. She's so sweet. She's up on this guy, and she accidentally scratches this 8-ball. Well, before that, I was like, oh my God, I turned to Jeff, and I was like, we're going to win this one in 3-0-2. Like, in my mind, I'm like, are we going to get the 3-3-3, all thing in 3s, and we're going to do it here, and I've never seen it once, and we're going to do it in a tournament? Something else crazy that happened I'll get to about Jeff, too. But we're there, and she ends up scratching on this 8, loses that match. So the next one, Charles is up, and he's one of our heavy hitters. I was like, oh, well, we're going to get this, because all he has to do is win, and we win it. He gets up 3-1. They each have to win 4, and he does end up dropping it somehow. And they put me up, and I was like, oh my God. And this is where I was like, how things kind of unfold. It's like, man, you saw this, and here you are. It's like when you rewind to the quote past, and then you saw that, and when that past self meets that present self that thought about that future moment in the past, and they converge, and you're like, man, I'm here right now in this, and I ended up winning. And I'm not saying that, of course, and I didn't say it to any of my teammates, this is for me, this is my thing, and this is just me sharing right now, mind you. But I was like, and I did not play well in that last match. I didn't. It even went to overtime. I really only had to win 1. We each only had to win 1, and we both did not shoot well. I ended up pulling it out, but weird thing is, I foresaw that, and sorry, I know it's just sitting on there, and we ended up winning this thing. Other crazy thing about Jeff is after that first day where we won 3-0, and then we won in 5, and that was a comeback too. We were down 2 in that last one, and our dude that ended up messing stuff up won 3-0 and won us that game. And then we won that game 3-0. Jeff said, one of us is going up in terms of our skill. And then that next morning for Sunday, the championship, we overhear the ladies that run, it's these 2 ladies that run this division of APA, talking about our team. We overhear because we're over warming up, and they don't kind of realize we're there, I suppose, talking about our team and moving somebody up. We go grab Jeff, and I was like, dude, you jinxed us. You put it out there, and lo and behold, today we get the updated deal. And one of our guys, Charles, who actually ended up losing, that one that was up 3-1, got bumped up a skill level, which is crazy because Vegas, he's a 6. We get out to Vegas, and we get up to our very first match to start this tournament. And he is listed as an 8, which is 2 skills above his normal. So that not only screws our numbers in terms of who we can play and how we can play, but it basically eliminates him because it's hard to play an 8 with those numbers. But we had to argue about it, and we got him back down, but then he went immediately back to a 7 that very next match, and he ended up even losing that match too, which is, again, the crazy deal about that. And his name is Charles Connor. They put the CC. He's the 33. Sorry, my dude, but yeah, man. And he put that out there, and sure enough, we come today. Sorry, it's just on there. I apologize. I'm not trying. Sorry. Let's get out of that. Let's go to another one. Let's go back to that. Now let's stay on that because I don't know what that picture was. It's just these weird coincidences that happen, and seeing that stuff unfold to today. That's my dog. My daughter drawing some stuff. And seeing this picture doesn't even do it justice. To getting things like that sitting outside right now. There's 3 like triangle shapes. It's weird. Just the shadow. I just happened to catch that. That middle one's the biggest and has that deal that looks like the stone. That's just what occurs to me. But trying to come back to just the weird stuff, and again, this is just another entry because I like going back and, seeing if there's something that I missed, really seeing what's kind of being presented to me and shown to me just in my day-to-day life, and how all these things are just so weirdly connected and repetitive. So again, what does that mean? It has to mean something, right? Because we have kind of figured out this, everything is, cause and effect, action, reaction, or something to that degree. So it's just, when you see those things, again, that you can't set up if you tried. Maybe I should. There, watch this. Anybody that's hung around. So what was weird, like I said, I showed me. I made this video with her. I made that video that I didn't record that was 1844, which is a 9 and an 8. Going back to what started this right after 9/8, and then the full moon, and then my first video, to that not being recorded, to recording one that's the 3/5 and the 2/6, which are the numbers that correlate with that, and to show you, we made this, and there's 2/9, 2/3. It's 11/23, and then look when I took that picture. You see that? 2923, and this was on Wednesday night. Well, let me go to it. Watch this. That one. There you go. Yep, we're about there. Yeah, those are the magic numbers, and this is the magic moment. The MM, but my MM.
I make a whale.
You did? That is a whale, and she draws a whale. Are you kidding me? This is real. What? Lincoln, why did you draw a whale?
Yeah, I draw it on me.
I understand that. But the whale is very significant because the whale's tail is going on now.
I gotta draw it.
And Jonah and the whale, yeah, that's good. You gonna erase it? Oh. What else are you gonna draw? So, do you see? Do you see that? Michael, I know you do. That's why you're keeping this, and you've been talking about it, and you tried to write about it, and you just, again, how do you put this into words with all of, and it's not just that one, all the videos you've made, seemingly, in terms of the lengths of time. It's probably not the best one to do. Let's get out of that. I mean, it's so weird. I mean, even going back, and I put a note in there, like this one that I did, which I like. I put in there, and you see that it's 621. And I had to comment on it. This is what I say I go back. And that's the summer solstice, and I'm talking about the sun and the corona and what it was associated with. And how those things kind of just fall in line. And I had such a busy weekend. And then I do that video. And I talked about it because I don't want these to get too long. But I do want to, because it is something. Just like I explained to my kids, there's never a time that nothing has gone on, because every moment, everything in the world just happened. All the time. So there's never a time that nothing's going on. So don't ever answer me nothing. But I digress. It's gotta be... It is. It is something. That's why I even put it out there where, maybe someone hears this, knows a little more than I do. Or really, honestly, I would really like I say, just to spark ideas and discourse about, like, oh man, I agree with you, or man, how did you come to that? Or man, you've got these numbers, but I've got these, so, here's my piece. And how do these correlate with my life, and to see similarities, kind of with what's happening. Because again, the biggest one, and you may not have gotten it, but for me, it was, not that was previous, this cheer one. And then it had that girl with the same looking one from my previous one. And that it involves my daughter, and then that was a song that she tried out for cheer. On top of this, that just, and I mean, I had to, I mean, she was working, but I was like, but you're not going to believe this. But she's starting to. But, yeah, I didn't want to get to it too much. Sorry about this. I don't know why these are so hard to see sometimes, and maybe I'm just not looking for it. But the fact that, again, this video is 11 and 2:03, and at night, as you can see the timestamp, I took that picture when she came out, and I didn't really mind, because this is like my contemplation time, thinking time, just to be honest, when you don't have people nagging you, and you can just see what these stars have to show you. See what they have to show you. The vanity, the chains, the shackles that we're still in, the damsel in distress, the warrior, the evil eye, what affects our consciousness or our conscience. Just to spark those ideas. Because maybe we can make correlations to things when we see this, and to kind of touch back on what, my theory, my idea is, why it is, there's that new moon. Just as an update for that. Oh, speaking of updates, I did hear back from my buddy. Hades is still alive and well, but super old and on the precipice. His words, or my assumption, I actually should say. So forgive me. There's that new moon. Oh, there's Libra. There she is. It, the stars that are known as Libra, the consonant, the constellation, the constellation. Yeah, so to give an update on that. But, my first video started with this. It's just hard. It was so mind-boggling to see that and to have those things happen over the weekend. And of course, these things that are happening in, quote, real time. Pretty... I think it's cool. My old lady, she's like, man, that seems stressful. She kind of came around, she thinks it's kind of cool as soon as something, really piques her interest. I just think there may be something more to it. Sorry, as I move around, and I know that there's somebody that knows more than me. And I only know what I don't know. And I also only know what I think I know. Or what we've been told. But the empirical things, the things that happen to you, that you see, that you feel, you taste, you experience, no one can tell you any different. There's no light. That is down to the subconscious. And that's why I wonder, what are those core beliefs? Beliefs. It's all a matter of time. About to exit grandmother, the nanny goat. It's funny, this whole thing started, in terms of the video I referenced just earlier, and one that I made, started as this entered into here. And it all started right there. And another weird thing, man, I need to share this one though, because I almost forgot this. So check this out. And forgive me, bear with me. So I do watch a bit of everything, and I don't have to accept everything, but I think that, again, everybody has a little bit of a piece, and you don't want to get too just attached to one thing. But he puts out this one about the organic side and spells through spelling.
Let's get it up!
This. And what's crazy is I watched this today. Now, granted, this did come out yesterday. Yeah. So this was Sunday, but I only watched this today. And I only watched, I don't watch that much. Not really anymore at all. But I put this because he's talking about the organic side and how his dad had, this gentleman that he made a video about who was worried about him getting into a crash when he gets home, crashes or gets crashed into himself the same day his father did too. And then the numbers line up. And again, I'll just take him at his word. But it's funny, I'm watching him talk about this. And it's funny, you're talking about crashes. I step outside for a cig, and a little boy crashes his bike outside the street from me. And now I step on the side of my house, so it's between two houses. So your purview of the street isn't like you're standing in your garage, for example. And you know what I'm talking about because you're the one that was there and you know your house. You're in between, so you only see this little part. And he fell over right by this bush. And I'm watching the last bit of this as I step outside while my daughter's sleeping. And instantly, I just think of the crash. But I think, he's on a bicycle. And then, of course, all this kind of correlates around my first video, not just mine, but this is your story. This is your entry here. I think about Queen and their song, and that today is 9/26, so the 2/6 is the 8, and the Queen died 9/8. Queen wrote a song, Bicycle Race. It reached number 11 in the UK and number 24, 2442. And I did look this up. Anybody that is listening, I want to be genuine, full disclosure, because I did think of it. So that idea led to that. That's what I'm saying. Kind of show you where I'm at. These things are presented to me. I watch this video, I step outside for a minute, and at that moment, a little boy happens to be riding by and crashes his bicycle by this really pretty bush. I can't remember where it blooms these flowers like twice a year. Very, very pretty. Neighbor across the street. Didn't fall into it, but it fell right by it. But the fact that I happened to be out there at that moment in that little strip that you can see between the houses backed up where the door's at, and to see that at that moment, and of course think about that song, and it's by Queen, and then the Fat Bottom Girls, which ties back to the pool because one of the girls on our team, that song came on, and she was like, she said flat, she I can't even get it out. Oh my goodness. She looks me dead in the face and said, why would they make a song about flat bottom girls? I mean, and I had to do everything I could to just be like, what was that? And Charles was there too, and he starts cracking up too, and for this to kind of echo back on that, and then and of course that was released on a double A, so it was like a single almost. They used to do those back in the day, for those who don't know, and those that do, in terms of tapes, cassettes, and things like that. But it was released as a double A, which made me think, of course, like the flight that crashed. The song was released 10/13/78. The 0, there's your 311. Again, fascinating place tying to the Queen, the 311, obviously the Corona, the Crown, so on and so forth. But yeah, that one I did look up because I feel I've been directed that way. Otherwise, why the first thing I'd pull up, and I hadn't seen anything, but I didn't realize that his channel 24 that he'd been posting on had been suspended. And again, I'm taking this guy at face value. I'm not denying it. I'm not accepting it. That's what's been presented. Anyways, I click on one of his and I see the organic, and that's one of the things that I've been thinking about with him. I don't watch him too much, but really sharp in terms of his memory and able to kind of piece stuff together just simply by the numbers, but it's more than just numbers. I mean, he even says it, letters, numbers, and words, and I think he's kind of coming around to that. And that's really good for him because that's what it needs. Because again, it's all about division, and if you set in your ways, you're not ever going to be open to hear someone else's or let go of that ego and admit you're wrong, or that there is more to it. But again, I digress. Yeah, but how these things just always seem to intertwine. And I'm not a fascinating dude. Maybe only in this regard, but I think everybody is. It's just those who kind of pay attention or even like the skills. Not everybody can throw a ball. Not everybody can, play the piano or a violin. Not everybody's a math genius. And some people have these, what are called skills. Some people more than others. And I think there's varying degrees to even feelings. You have the empathetic people, so on and so forth, just again to give examples. But again, going back to, I don't think we were taught these things. We got these different people, and when I'm talking about the stories that are presented to us now, because it's written in the stars about the false kings and stuff, because again, when we created time and these calendars, that can be manipulated because it is a construction of man. Okay? So once that can be manipulated, when people have all the information about you, when, where, the time of your birth, they'll know more about you than you'll know your entire life, probably. And they make these people, they put these people, and we're presented with these people, these characters, but they're not the right ones. And I'm sure the real people that are born at the right times, at the right place, because again, we're taught that, right? Going back to the Bible, right? They followed a star, the 3 wise men for the newborn king. Right? Again, and I'm not taking the Bible at face value either, mind you, but I'm not disregarding it. And we're also told to follow the stars a lot. And what stars? The stars that are presented to us in the media? I don't know. Let's look at some other ones. Sorry, we always do that. There's this guy that they're trying to raise. See that serpent right up to the corona, the crown. Remember that in that video? Well, this term was coined in the 1400s, or the 14th century, excuse me. That'd be the 1300s. But corona goes back to Ptolemy in the 1st century, or whenever it was. There's too many numbers to keep up with everything, but go back and review. There's old Arcturus. Man, that is a great star in the sky. Hercules in his journeys. That Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. The serpents. Let's get the low ones we don't normally see. Look funny about. There's the crux. There it is. No. Sorry, I get backwards. I am North America, so forgive me. There we go. Karina, remember on that video? I happened to scroll past those. The pupus, or the puppus. Which it's not gonna, there it goes, sorta. Anyways. Yeah, I don't wanna let this drone on too much longer, but again, anybody that does happen to watch, like to comment, I mean, more than welcome to. I'll tell you right now, if you put something like, oh, this is BS, oh, I'll show you how I knew too, which was crazy. That's why I went and got this. One last thing, since I've been showing it. Of course, this is my wife. You know her name. Went to Sam's Club, the 23rd. Just as a refresher, 23rd is that Friday as well. All this stuff was going on, right? 23rd. Look at these numbers. There's your 4, 7, 6, 8, 8, 6, 9, 8, 22, your 10. And then and the 666 subtotal, and we were going to play again 9-2-4-2022, which can be the 9 or the 6, 666, 999. And there's your 24 tax. Gotta get the empire its due. And there's another 72 Toto. 84, which is right before the 85, of course, 1984. All the 84 references that we have echoed through our deal. But to share that one too, I almost forgot about that. Because she got that earlier in the day. You saw that time. It was at 6 o'clock. Just after 6. But it's funny, I wonder where this story is going to go and why this repetitiveness is presented to us, because they are they'll even talk about them in their speeches, like, throwbacks to Shakespeare and, Homer, the Homeric type of the Odyssey. And I'm blanking so bad right now. I sit down in my chair and think about it. Oh goodness, that is bothering me. Wow. Let's look at the ones that are always going around, round and round, that original spiral. Well, yeah, that will. Still interesting watching that. Watching this story unfold in the conscious mind in my day-to-day. And I'll be on here recording again just for posterity. Hopefully to spark something too. I'd really, really like that. And I don't mind arguments. But don't come on and just tell me that this is BS, because you can't tell me. You can. But I'd rather it just make you wonder about things and not pull you to a pillar. Start asking questions and be more logical about stuff. Emotions are there for a reason, just like the sight, the taste, the touch. That's why they're called feelings, right? Don't you feel with your skin when you touch something? When you taste something? Really, when you hear something, aren't you feeling the sound waves? And your brain is putting it together, so we're told. Anyways, these may be feelings, these may be emotions. We're told a lot of stuff. I'm just looking for a grandmaster, or even a master, because I don't consider myself, and again, I'm not trying to label. It's the language we're presented with. It's the stories we're presented with. What do you believe? Cheers, guys.